Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ignite Your Wow. I'm Kellen Ann, and I am your host. Today, we are going to meet an amazing, amazing person that he wows me every single day. I don't know if he knows that, but he does. But before we get going, we need to thank our sponsors, Blue Sky Video Productions, Bruce Himmelblau. He produces my show. He's a YouTube strategist and an overall amazing guy. He makes all this seem seamless, and it makes it very easy for me. Forgot to ask you earlier, Bruce, do you have a tip for today?
I do, as always.
Yes.
So the tip is, and I guess Joe's a perfect person to be talking about this too, is when you're doing these live streams, you can do it for fun. You can do it for passion. But in the end, is it paying the bills? There's a sign up in Facebook that says likes do not pay the bills. So when you're doing these programs, have some sort of way of monetizing it, either in growing your business, growing your brand, or even working with affiliates. And I know Joe's got a lot to talk about with that. So that's the tip for the day.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thanks.
And our second sponsor is Cards That Wow. When you send out a handmade branded card from Cards That Wow, when your client or whoever you send it to opens up the envelope, they will actually go, wow, and you will be top of mind. So thank you, Bruce, and to me. No. So our my guest today is, I don't know, he is a sales genius, which is what he is known as on Clubhouse and in Facebook and everything. So I'm not even gonna talk about, there's so much. So we're gonna do our little introduction, and I'm gonna bring him on. Joe.
Good morning.
Oh my God. I could spend a whole show talking about your awesomeness and your wowness. I'm
okay with that. I'll just sit back.
Okay,
you just want to take it from here and say, hey, let's talk about awesomeness.
Well, yeah. You have 3 decades of sales experience.
I do.
Marketing success
started when I was 4. Yes.
That's like me. I started when I was 3. So yeah. I've had the privilege of getting to know you through Ken Walls and Grow Live and now in Clubhouse. And I'm really excited, and I'm appreciative of you being on my show today. What do we want to talk about? I mean, you are definitely someone that wows, and in almost any aspect of business. And the thing I love the most is that you use humor, and that you're so funny. And so what do we want to talk about first?
So let's talk about that. So this is something I listened to our mutual friend Glenn Morshower one night. I was talking with Ken Walls on his show. And then Glenn said, Joe is the pioneer and the perfecter of edutainment.
That's it, yes.
Right? He's the guy that takes education and entertainment and pushes them all together. And so for me, my belief system is this, and I learned this growing up, was that if you stop and understand that the second we start laughing together, ego leaves the room. Mm-hmm. Okay, so your ego disappears. And so when you look at that and say, if my ego left, then anything you're trying to talk to me about is no longer filtered. Mm-hmm. So when I sit down and say, as far as like sales genius back there, yeah, sorry. As the sales genius, all of my trainers and anybody that works within my company, the goal is get them laughing. So when you get them laughing, so we start every training with a funny video.
Nice.
Right. And so we start with the same one all the time because it's kind of evil and kind of funny. And so I'm like, if you're going to laugh at this, then you understand that you're going to end up with, nothing in my training could offend you if you're laughing at this, but it's a prank video. So it's one of those things that as soon as everybody starts laughing, the person who does this through the whole prank video, you go, that one is, ooh, that guy got to watch for, right?
If they were in Clubhouse, send them to the audience.
Yes, exactly. You're like, if you're not clicking that microphone like Mark Rodriguez, right? No matter what platform he's on his phone right now, clicking his microphone.
Exactly. Oh, did you know that today's Mark's birthday?
Today is Mark's birthday because Facebook told me.
Oh,
I can't
happy
say I'm a
birthday,
great
Mark.
friend. Yes, but happy birthday, Mark Rodriguez. So, but so if you look at that, right, and I'll answer Mark's question, does your ego ever really leave? Okay. Now, I've heard ego explained two ways. One of them is somebody else's way, and one is my way. Okay. So the first way that I was told was it's edging God out. So if your ego is there, you're actually edging God out of your life. To me, it's edging gross out of your deal. Okay, because I'm all about let's sell something today. So if you're going to edge out the gross, why? Because if I have to hold on to my own identity, right? If I have to hold on to that, then my identity has to match yours. And do you know that most times when people sit down to go sell something, if you go, I'm a salesperson and you are a prospect, you've walked in, it doesn't matter whether it's a retail establishment, doesn't matter where it is you're dealing, even if you're dealing with someone over Zoom for selling something. You, Kellen, with cards, right? Your cards that wow. I got a card that wow. And I have my own cards that wow. Yes. See what I'm saying? So that does a lot of talking for you. But if you came in to say, you have to like me for me. Okay. The average closing percentage is 25% in almost any industry. Okay. So that's 1 in 4. So 1 in 4. How many personality types are there in the world? Yeah.
Infinite?
You could say that, except that almost every single one, including our government in the United States, spent $1 billion in 2019 to go back through and say, let's go sit down and track down how many personality types there are. Okay. And Mark Rodriguez got it. 4. Do you know how many there was in 1970? 4. Do you know how many there was in the 30s? 4. Do you know in the 1910s how many person? There was 4. But every once in a while we got to go spend more money to say how many there are. Now, I also know there's a website called 16 Personalities, right? I figure it's all just women, but multiple personalities. But they sit back and say, but if you look at it, they say, so there's 4. So what are the odds that you are going to match with your prospect?
A quarter.
1 in 4,
Yeah.
25%. So you are not selling to all of your prospects. You're only selling to the ones that match you. Right. And that's what I look at. So you want to wow somebody today, right? Drop your ego and be who they need you to be to buy. And that's where I look. Huh?
Your ego doesn't let you listen either and hear what they really need.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Because I'm so worried about me and holding on to my identity. And the best part about all of this is that if you go through any personality training, right? I made my own just because I was like, I like the disc profile, but I kind of like the military one. Right. And I can go back through and do all this. And so because I'm one of these action taker kind of people, my answer was I'm going to go do my own so that I can say the words I want to say without somebody going, that's not the same as what so-and-so. I'm like, whatever. Right. So, but again, you could be sanguine. You could turn around and go be, they have I'm a type A. They have all of these different ones that you have. I have different ones posted up on here because there's all these different things. My friend Sherry Tree has bank, right? And so she'd BANK. There's 4. Okay. So when you look at that, everybody has all 4. Mm-hmm. If everybody has all 4, then all I have to do is access the part of me that matches the part of you.
Right.
Instead of me trying to hold on. And ego will tell you, no, I'm going to stay in this way. Okay. So my personality type, I got disc profiled when I was 19 years old. Okay. So like 6 years ago. And so when I was there, but I got it, and it was done by the author. Everything was done right. I was in a large auditorium. Everything got done, but I tested across which is like 2% of the population, actually get. Bruce, you are so good, right? So I tested IC, which they tell you you're going to be CDDIID, right? It should be together. So I wasn't. DNS are opposite, INC are opposite. So when you looked at that and said, okay, look, in this profile, I'm going to have a great time, okay, or I'm going to make sure every T is crossed or every I is dotted,
Mm-hmm.
or I have no idea what I wrote to know if it should be dotted or crossed, right? Those are the two personalities I bounced between. And so I was there because a friend invited me. Their personality type, when they got their test done, was the same as mine. And the person who invited them was the same as mine. So it was 3 of us in a row. So the guy was like, you guys don't understand that the whole reason all of you are here to learn this stuff is because you all resonate with one another in your natural states. So to me, I sat down, and if you look at the D personality, which is the driver, right, or a type A or something else, when I started studying personality types, right, my C personality said, let's map it all out. And I said, you know what, that driver person, okay, which in my personality type is an R, right, for the respected individual, that person makes more money. So if we have all 4, I'm going to choose to change my resting state.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go look and model somebody that has the R personality that I enjoyed. That's what the person who makes the most money. I just found the most positive example I could find and said, let's go after this individual and let's model ourselves to that person. And I think if you sat down across the table from the person that you're sitting down to sell, and your mindset was, how do I pull out this part of my and I don't want you to be fake. How do I pull out part of my personality that matches theirs? Okay, because the person that you sell to instinctively, you're going to sit back, because I get this all the time, because especially like a lot of my larger clients are automotive dealerships, and everybody views automotive as confrontational, right? I'm going to go in, I have to argue with the person, I have to do this. And so when you're sitting down with someone, they go, I wasn't even planning on buying today. It was so easy, right? And I laugh and I go, it was that easy because I wasn't going to fight you with my personality.
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of it comes down to. What can you do? So
don't you think that part of it's instinctual for us to seek a tribe, somebody that it has common beliefs, just like you and your 3 friends had when you guys all went to take the test. And do you agree or disagree that Clubhouse is allowing that to happen more readily?
Absolutely. I mean, again, like I was talking with Bruce before this, right? I'm on Clubhouse, but I know because we all have iPhones, it tells me how many hours I spend on it, right? And in a week, I'm on it 30 something hours. But I leave it on the charger sitting next to me playing in the background like a podcast that I can interrupt if I need to.
Yes.
To me, that's the best. I'm like, no. I'm going to go raise my hand because you're wrong, right? Or, I want to back that up. That's fantastic. So I go after that kind of thing. So it's always on. And me being an auditory person, I think a lot of it, what happened was it brought a lot of us auditory learners to the table. Right? Because we can hear an auditory person. There's visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, right? So when you go in, if anybody's going to be a trainer, if anybody's going to talk to anybody, you got to figure out who your people are, right? If I talk to you in the way that you learn more. Okay. So I get you to laugh. So the ego drops. So now my message can be received without a filter. Then I learn, if you're visual, what did I put up on the screen, right? If I'm auditory, what did I say, right? And kinesthetic, I tell people you're going to take notes. I have an actual form that I give to everybody in my trainings. And I say, fill this out first. And it's amazing how it's 12 questions. And it's amazing how many people don't know their own learning style because we don't teach this, right? No. And I'm like, why wouldn't we be teaching every teacher that's out there, this is how your child did it, right? And I forget sometimes too. I did a training. I had 40 people in a room. that I am training on stuff. And I have one girl that I never made eye contact with. And I was like, oh man, that summary at the end and the, rank your trainer. Cause I make all of my participants rank the trainer. And then all of a sudden I was like, this is going to be the worst review yet. Right. And then she came up, she goes, oh my gosh, Joe, that was amazing. And I was like, what? Right. And she goes, it was so amazing. She goes, when you said this, oh, it really resonated with me. I heard you when you said blah, blah, blah. And I was like, she's auditory. Auditory people point their ears towards you, not look at you. Right. And so I forgot about it. I was like, come on. You train this all the time and you forget this stuff. Come on. But
yeah, I can agree with you with learning this at a younger age. I was kind of forced into psychology and human personalities because of, just life. And like my daughter, she couldn't get past the third grade in reading. And I kept saying, there's something wrong. No, Miss Fisher, sometimes kids are C students. I'm like, no, there's something wrong. And so I pushed a test, and then we found out she had a visual processing disorder. So it's so simple. It should be a part of curriculum. I really do believe that, because it's harder to learn it on your own,
Yes. But the answer is that, and again, so when I started training, right. And if anybody wants it, if you go to Ingram Interactive /secret, okay, ingraminteractive.com/secret, right. I have a whole bunch of free stuff that I hide that's over there. So only when I go on Kellen Ann's show can somebody go there, but there's a learning assessment there. Right. And that learning assessment just lets you learn who you are, because that way you understand. So I tell everybody, I go, look, visual people. Right. So if I said, Kellen, you're visual as you learn. So if that's the case, then I'm going to say, when you look at your phone during my training, I know you checked out. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you're not looking at me, I know you checked out. Okay. And then I tell the auditory people, I say, look, see, she's gone. She's gone. Yeah. So be that or a seizure. I'm not sure. But so and I go, auditory people, if you are staring at me, I know you're gone too, because you shouldn't be staring at me. And I go, and all you kinesthetic learners, if you aren't taking notes, you aren't learning. And so one of the things I'll tell you as an auditory person, the voice inside our head doesn't count as auditory.
Okay.
Sure. Right. Yeah. So I have people all the time, I studied. I go, I know, but as an auditory person, I have to say what I want to study out loud. So it goes back in through my ears, because that's how I learn. And so once you understand this stuff, and again, I have clients that tell me all the time, they're like, it's amazing. 2 weeks after you left, I can go ask my staff and say, what is it you learned last time the genius dude was here? And they're like, oh, brrr. And they're like, he's like, the same day another trainer comes in, I ask them later that day, they can't tell me. So whatever you're doing is sticking. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, all I did was take the time to learn how people learn, right? Make them laugh and check my ego at the door. And so if I have to, I can go ego to ego, because I've lived the life I'm trying to help them with.
Right.
Right. What is Clubhouse? Imposter syndrome. I swear that gets mentioned every day in almost every room. I have imposter syndrome. I'm like, imposter syndrome comes from fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm. Is that the most stupid thing you've ever heard?
I sit back all the time and I'm going, oh, stop it. Stop it, all of you. And they're like, they sit back. They're like, well, I feel like I have imposter syndrome. And I'm like, well, you should feel that way, right? You either believe it till you achieve it. Right. And if I believe it, then I'm not being an imposter. But if I'm going to sit back and go into a room that says 9-figure business moguls, and I put myself on stage and represent myself as a fake 9-figure guy, then yeah, of course you have imposter syndrome. But
so do the people that are on the other people that are on the stage that, we have no way of checking. It's you just got to weed out what you think to be real or what could be realistic, because there's some things on
well, one of the hardest things to fake, right, is your voice.
Right.
your voice tells so much. And if you learn to listen to somebody, you can tell when they're transitioning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like my favorite medium to sell on is the phone. Okay. I look just like Brad Pitt over the phone. So it's really easy, right? But over the phone, I can pick up so many more things where, like, even on Clubhouse, I'll sit here and go, he's lying through his teeth right now, right? Well, this guy,
you can tell.
Yeah. But
There's
again, like a visual
pauses,
person,
yeah,
a visual person can't
Mm.
because the picture doesn't change.
Right.
I had one person was on the other end. She's like, "Oh my gosh, my eyes are just, they're burning because I just keep staring at the screen." And I was like,
why
you realize it's an auditory app. There's no reason to stare at the screen. Our pictures aren't changing when they're not moving, right?
Well, sometimes they change, but
when somebody says pull to refresh, then look.
right.
But otherwise, you don't have to. But
oh my gosh. Oh yeah, that's awesome. This is great information. Did you want to talk a little bit about monetizing your lives and affiliate type things?
Absolutely.
And then we need to talk about your Amazon, your books.
Yes. Okay. So one of the things I'm going to put out is that if you guys have, like, for example, Kellen Ann started with, here is my sponsors. Okay. So like for me, I have my War Games group, but that's also sponsored, right, by the Los Angeles Tribune. So they sat back, they came up and they were like, hey, guess what? You're building an audience. You're getting a bunch of views. In the beginning, you're not going to have a bunch of views. And if you seek a sponsor prior to building an audience, you're going to fail, right? Because there's no return on their investment as it goes through. So I always say, just look for providing value first. If you look to provide value and you do it with the right intention, an audience will form with you. Okay. And so, I mean, I look and I think my largest audience is on LinkedIn. And I laugh and I'm like, I'm never on it. So I guess, less of me is better for a lot of people in the business world. So, but I always am, I'm not on it all the time, but the perception is I am. Right. So value for everybody, free program, recurpost.com, recurpost.com. It posts up for up to 2 social media platforms for you. So you build a post once and then you just have it continuously repost it. And it can track the actual best times to post based off of your audience. Okay. So if I was smart, I would have an affiliate link and I would have already sent it to Bruce and said, hey buddy, here's this, put it up there. But again, are you focused on that? Right? Are you focused on how do you put money out there? One of the things I do is that I live stream, right? So I'll buy a URL. I have probably 300 URLs. Right. And I have them because I want something really easy. Okay. So what I say is like I own golivewithjoe.com. So if I want to say, hey, do you want to jump into a Zoom, just go to golivewithjoe.com. That's something anybody can easily remember. Right. And so don't do that now, though.
But he's busy, guys. He's busy.
Yeah. I'm currently on doing something right now, but that's what I'm saying is that, are you making it easy for everybody? So with my War Games training that I do once a week, it's the invite only one, right? And we don't have to put it up, but wargamesgroup.com I went and bought that, and it became War Games Group because a lot of the other names I came up with, the URLs were taken. Okay. And so something I learned from Robbie Cornelius, right? What did Robbie tell me? He goes, go to expireddomains.net. Okay. I dropped $400 the first time I went there. It's scary. It's scary how good that is, right? It's whatever it is. So for me, the word genius is in there, right? A lot of my programs are based off of something genius that's there. So sales genius, internet genius, BDC genius, service genius, customer service genius. All of those things are there. So I can go and search for anything that's expired with the word genius in it. Right? And then again, why? What is that going to do for me, Kellen? It's going to make me easier to find on the web. Right? But you could go through and it'll show you all the backlinks. It'll show you that you could go get a URL that already has 50 things pointing to it. So when you buy that, you're automatically going to jump up in the SEO world.
Right.
Okay. But you need to get out, provide value, find a way to capture somebody's information. Right. I'm part of a mastermind group. The goal is what? It's all about email list capture.
Yep.
So for me, again, I made it easy. thegeniuslinks.com. That takes you to my tap link page, which has a whole bunch of stuff in it. Down at the bottom, what I gave to your audience free was the ingraminteractive.com/secret. That's at the bottom. And it says, you want secret stuff, right? You click that. It takes you to a funnel page that says, enter your information, then bounces you to that page.
Nice.
Right? So I'm just capturing information. Why? Because we've already been conditioned that giving an email address in exchange for some information that you don't have is not a big thing.
Right.
Right. I can tell you if you end up with my Hotmail that I've had for 30 years, right? It's because I didn't want to give you my email. Right. That's the spam email box. Yeah. Maybe
I have an email. It's ibroke.gmail.com.
There you go.
That's all the
I ended up with probably like 9 emails a couple months back when Gmail said, hey, these accounts are inactive, and in 2022, we're going to kill everything that's in the drive or anything. I was like, I forgot I had those, right? I created them for some reason,
right?
But I'm like, I don't even remember passwords or anything along those lines. But again, provide the value, jump out, give somebody something, right? Get their email in exchange from it. Okay. Why? Because if I found value from you, okay, then more odds are I'm probably liking you. And I would be okay if you reached out with more value. And so again, let me give you this. Okay. I want everybody to hear this because it's one of the things that everybody fails. Yeah. You see it, and I'm auditory. That's why I said everybody should hear this. So listen to the words. Everybody turns around and gets an opportunity to meet somebody. It's up to you to foster that relationship. And most people don't. Okay. So I'm in a group with people that I'm part of a mastermind group. In the mastermind group, this individual is a celebrity that I'm in the group with. It's his group. But he brings in other celebrities to come talk when he doesn't want to talk. So he's like, hey, this is the guest trainer today. Let's have a conversation, right? And so these people come in. I take it upon myself to establish a relationship or foster that relationship with that individual. Okay. The same thing happens on Clubhouse, right? I love Clubhouse because if I see somebody I like, I immediately click on their face, go down to the bottom, click on Instagram. Now, what I like to do, right? I am one of those weird people. I want to make sure you know that we were in the same room together. Okay. So I'm going to sit down so this individual, there's an individual. So I'm going to show you a little picture. So I circled myself and I circled them. So I did a screenshot. Look, another Clubhouse notification. Yeah, like 500 a day. But I did a screenshot. I circled it, drew it, and I said, hey, it was great sharing the stage with you, blah, blah, blah. Right?
I do the same thing. Like if I'm in the audience, though, and somebody says something that's really cool, I do that. I screenshot it. I send it to you, and I say,
there's another one. Right? Yeah. So, but I do this all the time, and I send it to them, and then the answer is, oh, my gosh, yeah, look. That's me with Alexa, right? Cancel. I have one of those over here on my desk too. But she knows everything about everything. And so I always say, so I sent this to her and I said, are we like best friends now? right? And she answers back, oh my God, stop it. Right. But I've never met her. It's just every time we're on the same stage, I will screenshot it and send it. So I'm adding into that emotional bank account, right? To say, hey, just letting you know I'm around, right? Hey, I got value today from what you said. But I will foster that into a relationship where she will end up on my show to have a conversation with me.
Bingo.
Right? And so then what does that do? It opens me up to her audience. Okay. So I'm on your show, which means you've opened me up to your audience, right? We have a very similar audience because we all know each other, right? But the answer was, what happened? You said, hey, Joe, I heard you on Ken, right? I heard you on that one. So now it's going to go through, but it's all up to us to actually reach out to those people. Okay. And so I have had a bunch of people on my show because of the fact that I went out and said, oh my gosh, what you said. So again, jump into the comments. They post something, comment something relevant to what they posted.
Right.
Right. That to me, it's like, oh my gosh, that was so great. That's not a comment. Right. Hey, you know what really resonated with me when you said this. Right. Or, wow, you really did provide value today when you said this. And I will quote them back to them. Okay. And so when they do open up the DM or they read the comment on there. Okay. So last night on Clubhouse, Ken Walls pinged me into a room with Mark Victor Hansen and Crystal Hansen. Right. And so they were in there. And so I'm sitting there going, well, guess what? I'm in the room. Right. I do have Mark's cell phone number because we were introduced before through Bob Donnell. So I was like, okay. Then I raised my hand and he goes, okay, I have to leave. Right. So Joe, he goes, Joe, you have a question. So what do you want to say? And so again, what do I use for everything? Humor. I said, well, I have no idea who Mark and Crystal are. My question's for Ken Walls. Right. And so Mark goes, I go, I'm joking, Mark, it's Joe. Right. And Ken jumped in. It was like, hey, that's funny. Joe's saying da 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 da. And it was hilarious. But what is his book about? Right. I have it on the shelf over here. Ask. So I said to him, I go, hey, we already talked about it and you agreed to it, but I wanted to ask you again, will you and Crystal come on my show, on my podcast? And he was like, of course we will, Joe. And I said, great, then I'll text you. And then another friend of mine goes, there you go again, because I told them, I said, always ask in public. Right? Always ask in public. If you ask in public, it's much harder for them to say no. Right?
It's more embarrassing when they do.
Right. And I'm okay with it. Right? If they say no, yeah, I would say, great, I love that. Okay, fine. So that's what I want to say is that, but you got to be bold. Right. Right. Again, being meek doesn't get you anywhere.
No, I've learned that.
Right? Yeah. And again, and to me, the answer was, right, yes, I am Justin. You're absolutely correct. So,
and Justin is the Clubhouse wizard.
He is. I'm a Clubhouse genius. He's the Clubhouse wizard. He has a costume. I don't have one yet.
Well,
I think I need to get big glasses.
Someday you'll have a costume.
Yeah, I'm going to get like the Mr. Magoo glasses.
Or maybe get the round glasses with a red and white striped hat like Waldo.
Nice. I could definitely do that. But that's what I look at and I say, again, can you provide value to an audience? Can you capture information from the audience? I do love you, Justin. Yes.
Me too.
But yes, so let's talk about Clubhouse, right? What is Clubhouse? Yes, Mark Rodriguez loves to spin the turntables.
Oh my God.
/ YouTube. Yeah.
He was on fire last night.
So again, but again, I believe Mark is being Mark. When you get him on there and you get him to start dropping the stuff, he enjoys entertaining people. He enjoys the engagement. Justin is about value. His answer is, can I provide value to everybody? He knows if I provide value to others, it's going to come back to me.
Right.
Right. Kellen, you're out making cards that wow. right? And again, why? Because that's going to benefit the person who has the card, right?
So that's my goal.
Yeah, your goal is to do what? I'm going to provide you value that's going to provide ongoing value.
Right.
That's there, right? You put out a show. Why? Because the answer is I want to get more value that's beyond just my own knowledge.
Right. That's how this whole show started back in March last year is how can I help? Let's get smart people talking about what they know about.
Right.
But now I've moved up to genius people. So I'm really
right. I mean,
come a long way.
Where are you going to go after that?
I don't know.
God. Stephen Hawking's already dead. So kind of just peaked.
Yeah.
But again, that all I'm trying to say is they, again, get out there, provide value. So one of the things I'll tell you that like my show is considered group coaching. So something that I have in front of me all the time is, excuse my reach, right? To remind me, we develop lead magnets, which is something you're going to give away for free to capture an email. That way you can make offers to those people. Then you're going to set up your courses that you can sell. Then you offer a group coaching program. Then you can set up masterminds and then one-on-one. And the price point increases as it goes through this list. So do you have a lead magnet, which is what you can give away for free in exchange for an email address? That's what I'll ask. Right? Then you can get to offers and courses.
Awesome.
So, but again, it is up on my wall every day to remind me to go do something else. Do you have a funnel builder? I know Justin put in something on there too. One of the comments was about funnels, right? Funnels aren't bad things. Funnels aren't played out. Funnels are just simply, look, I even draw stuff out. Funnels are just simply, how do you get people through what's there? So if you look over here, I'm like, okay, great. I have to sit down. There's a Clubhouse invite. Then we DM a web page number, then go to a Facebook group and then do live events, right? That's a funnel. Is that something bad? No, right? What does it look like in the real world? Television commercial, somebody eating the McDonald's food, right? They add a jingle to it so that way you think about it other times. Okay, stop and ask yourself, where is the Chick-fil-A billboard with the cows on your drive, right? Because it pops in your head. You're like, I know where I can see it right now.
Yep, I know exactly where it is.
Right. Okay, but that's them, right? If you look at it, they buy those billboards at a year clip. They don't do 30 days like other people do.
Right.
Right? They do it for a year because I want it to continue to keep.
It's top of mind awareness.
Absolutely. But again, the second someone says Chick-fil-A, you see the billboard.
Yep.
And are you, and again, but what is that designed to do? What's the ultimate goal? For you to drive in the drive-through.
Right.
And buy food.
When you're hungry, you can go there.
That's their funnel, right? So don't think it's anything other than traditional business.
Right.
Because I know a lot of people sit back and go, oh my gosh, you're just trying to, no, it's just business, right? And if you have an issue with a funnel, then you don't understand business.
Right.
Right. And so again, I don't think giving me one of the emails, I literally have 11 email accounts on my phone. Right. Even with my wife, I tell her, send it to the business email. And she's like, why? I go, because that pops up with a notification. The other accounts don't pop up with a notification because that would drive me crazy.
It's like keeping your Clubhouse notifications on. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, yeah. It's the only thing I have notifications on. And I literally, from just us starting this, there's 31 notifications from Clubhouse on my phone.
I got 23. He beat me.
It's scary.
So, okay, I know we're going to talk about your best-selling book, but I've been dying to ask you, how is your billboard?
Billboard's good. I just redid it. So now what I'm doing is targeting around the United States. So I looked over. I just went to Vegas for a mastermind, right? And
When
so
were you there?
I was there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday last week.
Oh my God, I was there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Anyway.
So we had a dinner on Wednesday. So that's what I did. So I was like, oh, I'm out there. So as I'm driving on the freeway, I'm like, there's a digital billboard. There's a digital billboard, right? So I'm over here typing notes to myself on my phone, right? And I was like, okay, that's great. I have that. So then I came back here and I'm building out new stuff, right? To put up there so that I can build my business easier in Vegas. Because it's a couple-hour drive to get there. But
we need to give credit to who's
Robbie.
Yes, Robbie Cornelius. He's going to be on my show. I'm not sure when, but
that's fantastic.
That first, my first room on Clubhouse, talk about luck or divine intervention. I don't know. I was in a room with him, and we had who else was in there? Jamie Green was in there, and she was the smart one and took notes. And I still have those notes because it's all this stuff that you've been doing. Your billboard, you're writing book. How many are you doing? A book a week, or what are you doing?
Right now I have 6 books that are out. One of them is an actual content book. That's the one that Justin had mentioned about being a best-selling author. But again, I'm going to tell you the biggest problem everybody has is implementation of the information. Okay. So I believe we're talking about the same room, right? That with Robbie. So Robbie was on TikTok. That's where I met him. And I met him, and then we started to, just again, what did I do? I started making relevant comments. I started jumping in on his live streams and asking him things. And it got to the point one day where I typed over and he goes, Joe Ingram, I know that name. And I was like, well, that's because I've already hit you up in Instagram. I've hit you up on your TikTok lives, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm there and I'm providing information, right? Or something that's relevant to what's going on. And because I'm doing that, he recognized that was it. So then I introduced him to Ken, right? I gave him a value proposition. I said, do you want to be on my show? And I can also get you set up with Ken Walls, who has 100,000 people, right? That he can present you out to. And he was like, dude, let's do this. And so Robbie and I are really good friends at this point because I chose to do that. But that night, these are the notes I took.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So everything he said, coloring books, right? The Money
Manifestation
Journal. Yeah.
It's almost done, I think.
And then I drew the line and I put, now here's all the software applications that I have to get. And I went through, and then I put down here at the bottom, while I was on the thing with him, I go, here, look, book number 1. What goals do you have? I have book number 1, book number 2, Clubhouse influencer. Okay. And then I put 2 international clients and a 25% increase in profitability and 4 new products on Amazon. So I've already done book 1. I've done the 4 new products. I've done book 2. I just haven't done it. But to me, book 2 is one that's on my wall over here. It's my big sales book for handling sales phone calls called Ring Ring. And so, but when you look at that, I sat down and did it. So we got off of that call at 11:30.
You had a billboard that next morning, didn't you?
I did. So I built it. I put up the billboard. I did all the stuff and submitted for my approval. Right. I stayed up till 2:30 in the morning.
Right.
Okay. And I got my billboard set up. I bought all the software applications he talked about. I took a blog post, converted it into a book with one of the software applications that he put out. And then I took that and I published it to KDP, which is Amazon's thing, put it out there for $5 and waited. And it took 24 hours. Right now, my newest book, my newest journal that came out was, it took 72 hours for them to approve it. But I built my book, put it up there in 2 hours. It took 24 hours. They said it's live. I did 2 posts, one to Facebook, one to LinkedIn. So within 48 hours of talking to Robbie, I was an Amazon bestseller in my category. Right. And so I'm like, boom. So now I can say I'm an author. I have a book. Instead of I'm potentially writing one. My book is 22 pages long. Guys, this isn't anything.
It's
right. It was a blog post. It was a podcast that I transcribed, put up on my blog, right? Which nobody knows where this is, right? And so, because again, there's no comments on my blog post from a year and a half. So I took it, turned it into a book, and now everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is great information. I'm like, it's been out there. Right? Go to my YouTube channel and listen to the podcast. What is wrong with you people? You know, it's already there. But again, Amazon did the work for me. That's my book.
That's awesome.
Right? And you know what? That's their picture. All I did was put it together, right? Fill out the back. I wrote something nice about myself because I can write what I want, right? And then, you know, I put the little caption thing in the back. Look, guys, it's big font. It's got big pictures.
That's perfect. I need large print these days.
Right? It's 22 pages long. But again, I know because I listened to what he said. And I went through the process and I'm like, okay, great. Now I can go train this to anybody I want to. But to me, I sat down and again, this was from Clubhouse. This whole page here is me on Clubhouse meetings and what am I learning? So I went ahead and said, wouldn't it be nice if everything was in one spot like I have here, but formatted?
Mm-hmm.
So today what released was the clubhousejournal.com, right?
Is that where they go to buy it?
So that's if you want to buy it on Amazon.
Go get it, everyone, because you need it.
But again, I was like, let me make this. It's a journal. It's a journal that houses, it's for 90 different rooms that you're in.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
Okay, so it's technically like 93, but 90 sounded so much better. Right? So I'm like, here's 90. You won't be mad at me if you go in and go, actually, there's 93 room pages. But the book itself is, what are you going to take away from this? What are you going to do with this? Right? Here's websites that this person said. But it starts off and says, name of the room, moderators, people to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So you can list it out, right? What's the date of the room? And then down below says books or websites to visit. And then it says, here's action items that I'm going to take.
That's perfect.
Right? And so that's just something to grab. And look, it's $7.
That's awesome.
Right? I'm like, I'm not, oh, it's going to be this. Because again, I want it to be something that everybody gets. Right? And why? Because it's going to help you to make, and again, in this, I put down, if you're going to spend your valuable time someplace, you need to have a return on that investment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can I say that me spending 30 hours a week on Clubhouse makes sense? Well, yeah, because I became a best-selling author just off of a 2-hour room. Okay. Because I implemented it, because I enjoy putting things into action, because nothing happens until you do. Right. I'm not a forever student.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have clients that are. I ain't gonna lie, they're always wanting to be in, they always want to be learning. They don't implement anything. Okay? So if you can go through this, just please walk out of this and go, you know what's the genius thing Joe shared? He said, go do something. Right? It's the most simple thing I could tell you is go do something today. Every day, pick one thing you're going to say, I'm actually going to do it. I hired, guys, get this. Have we ever bought a course and then didn't do anything with it?
I think right? We all have.
We all have. And all y'all that are watching, you're like, I know, but I'm not going to raise my hand. Yes. So I'm will tell my mic. Nice. Right? I will tell you what I did. I sat down and said, if I bought a course, let's say we buy a course, let's go cheap, $97. Okay? You go in and you look at the course and you say, hey, this course cost me $100 that I haven't done anything with. So I'm going to ask you, if it costs $200, would you go back and finish it? I don't know.
I mean, it depends what you're
what's your pain threshold, right? So my answer is this: go find a virtual assistant, pay them $100, okay, to watch the course and implement it for you. Guys, it'll get done.
Yeah,
right?
it's amazing. I just hired a virtual assistant. She was on here, Missy.
Me
and
too.
She is.
I love Missy. Missy came to us from Clubhouse.
Yes, that's how I found her.
Yeah.
And
Missy started jumping into rooms, and I'm like, oh my, and she's like, I'm a virtual assistant. I'm like, yes, right? I had another friend say, Joe, you need a virtual assistant. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Boom, I'm in a text thing. Amy Lee, right? My dear friend Amy Lee. She was like, you need to talk to this person because they implement. And I'm like, okay, yep, there's Missy. So Missy will have to talk too, because I have more courses I bought that I haven't done anything. So to me, the answer was I bought a course about Facebook groups and doing something. Why am I kidding myself that I have enough time to do all this?
Mm-hmm.
So if finances is the resources I have, right, then I'm going to utilize that resource to get the result, which is the return on the investment. So if I can't invest time, I'm going to pay somebody for their time to implement what I need implemented so that it doesn't take away from my time and gets there. And I told my virtual assistant, I said, you know what? Here's the best part. You are going to go learn all this information about building private groups that monetize and do all that. You can take that information after you've implemented it with me.
Theirs, yeah.
Right? Once you've built this and managing it, go build your own too.
Yeah.
I don't care. Consider it a bonus.
That's
right?
Awesome. Yeah.
But again, and so to me, that's giving back. That's me, the best utilization of my time is to build this stuff forward. But most people aren't. We get so stuck in the I have to do it. And I'm one of those. Yeah, I'm a control freak. We know that. And so, but that's my way of controlling it. I'm going to pay you to go do it, and I'm going to give you outcomes, and I'm going to come back, right? And it's like, okay, I did it. I controlled it. But I'm going through my little folder because I have one called business receipts in my Outlook. And I'm going, what other stuff can I pay her to implement that I already bought that I did nothing with?
Now that is genius.
Yes.
Because
remember, self-help doesn't help you.
Right. Exactly. Right.
I bought it, put it in the shelf. Yeah.
That is, as they say in Clubhouse, that was a true gem that you dropped.
Yeah, in my actual thing, it says Clubhouse Gems. That's what the title is of each page. So on my Clubhouse journal, I was like, Clubhouse Gems, let's go.
I love it. I love it. You are awesome. You are a genius. And I truly appreciate you. I truly do. So I ask everybody the same question at the end of the show. What is your definition of wow?
My definition of wow, okay, is when I have, to me, definition of wow is I have delivered beyond the expectation. Okay, because, but again, did I do my job to understand what the expectation was? Right? And and again, if you didn't, you'll have no idea if you wowed them.
Right.
Right. And you know what comes from a wow? A referral. Right. I was in a Clubhouse room yesterday. Surprise. Look at the little mic flash. There it is, Justin. Kellen Ann is flashing her microphone.
I thought there was something wrong with my Wi-Fi.
No, that's Bruce. He's being smart.
He's awesome. Bruce is awesome. I mean,
he is fantastic. He really is.
I couldn't do this without him. I know Ken gives me a tough time because I don't do this myself, but I would rather, be able to concentrate on you than like, oh wait, I sent him away. Come back.
Right. Where did he go? Am I full screen? Are you full screen? Yes.
This is all you would see if I did it myself. So
I agree. I agree with you, right? I have to fight with Ken all the time because his answer is, why do you use Zoom? Right. And now he's angry at Zoom. So that gets even worse. But like I realized, I was like, he's right. Right. I go through the Grow Live stuff that he put together and I'm like, yep, I need to do this. How do I move people from my free show into a group that I can now monetize based off of this? And so like tomorrow, is today Tuesday? Woo!
Yes.
I have no clue anymore. Right.
That's
So
all.
tomorrow in my group I'm brought in a guy that has developed social media software for the small business owner. Right. He's like, how can you spend less time on the computer and get bigger impact? Well, our software will help you. And I was like, great, you need to come on my show. Okay. I invested in the company. When I saw what it was, I was like, I'm going to invest in the company. And I was like, and you know what I said? And what's my affiliate link? Right. And he's like, I will rush it through. I said, so that when I put it out there, because of the value proposition and the price point that I've negotiated for everybody, it's going to be absolutely immense value. Mm-hmm. Right. If I can get $2 off of every yearly plan, that's $2 more than I had.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. And as soon as we understand that our influence, our time, right, is worth something, you decide what it is. Mm-hmm. Right. And so again, go out, build relationships.
Value is what somebody will pay for it. So
right. But again, what is it that I'm saying it's worth? So if I'm going to allow you to come on and get 1,000 views off of my show in a week, right? And if there's a product offering, and I'm okay if people offer products. I'm okay if somebody comes on and goes, I have a new book and I want to sell my new book. If I've read your book and I think it's value add, I'm going to invite you on because more people are going to learn from that. And again, my concept is value. And I don't think it's wrong as the sales genius guy to charge for value.
No.
And as soon as everybody changes their mindset that, well, it's the value increases if I give it away for free, it doesn't. Because more than you have bought courses and not done anything with them. I guarantee you the free courses, you don't even feel bad that you did nothing with them.
Right, right. If you have something in the game, you're more willing.
Skin in the game. Gotta have it. Yep.
Or your assistant can complete it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying right now. It's like, okay, great.
That truly is the thing that I took out of this whole conversation. That's like, that is brilliant. That is brilliant.
It really is. And it was accidental. I just sat there. I'm like, hey, I just bought this. And I'm like, and I'm looking at it going, yes, there's so much information. There's so much value. I was like, go in, add up how many hours the videos are. I'm going to pay you your hourly rate to learn it. Right. And then you're going to take that and you're going to tell me how many hours it takes for you to do this and implement it. The answer was, it'll take 13 hours. And I'm like, great. Then will you want me Venmo, PayPal? How do you want it? I need something implemented. If it's going to take you 13 hours, I'm going to give you a week. You're going to put this out and I'm going to have income producing results a week from now. Well,
if you did it yourself, it could be 13 months.
Absolutely. And
it happens at all.
100%. If at all. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I think we went over our half-hour mark, but I don't care. This was a great time.
That's because I talk too much. It's what
you have something valid to say. So how much do I owe you? Because you
nothing. You owe me nothing. You owe me nothing.
I got your card. So
yes, I was gonna say I have my cards with my name on it. Look at that. Sales Genius, Internet Genius, BDC Genius. They're gorgeous. And if you turn it over, look, Cards That Wow, because she's branding at the same time.
Yeah, I've learned something these past few months, believe me. I'm a work in progress still. And I implement things, but I do it really slow. But now that whole have a virtual assistant implement things. Yeah, because why would I want to waste time on learning something when I need to be doing things that I do well and create income? That's just...
Okay, so here's the next thing for your virtual assistant.
Okay.
She needs to reach out to everybody that you sent cards to, and I'll be the first one that's here. And we're going to take a picture with our card and then send it to you. And that way you can post up all of these people that are happy with their WOW cards. Right? So it'll be testimonials of all these people that are so excited about it.
I've sent out a bunch, so.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. But again, it's only marketing if you can capture the information back so that it becomes return on investment. So
Maybe we can make a TikTok out of a bunch of the pictures or something. I don't
well,
know.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, have her splice everything together. Missy's talented.
She's
right?
amazing.
Yeah. Put on some popular music, throw all the card pictures in a row, and if she puts the name of the person underneath it, right, it'll be great on the website, and it'll be great for YouTube. Put it on YouTube, backlink to your website. It adds value in the SEO search. So
you are a genius, Joe, and I'm happy to call you my friend.
I'm very happy to call you friend as well, Miss Kellen Ann.
Well, everybody, if you like what you heard today and you've got you received value, be sure to like and share this out to everybody you know, because this kind of information doesn't come around every day. I want to thank everybody for watching, and if you're watching this on the replay, please let me know and hit replay. And I hope everybody has a great day. I know Joe will, because he's a genius, and geniuses don't have bad days.
And I have to go back on Clubhouse soon.
Okay, I better let you go then. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Take care.